Well, well, it is my honor and privilege to have you here. I had said that for my first few guests, I wanted some of my favorite people. I always tell you that you are literally one of my favorite people in the world, and that's not BS, it's the truth. I feel you know that. I hope I'm one of your favorite people.
You know the fucking feeling that you stop playing on me.
This individual his name is Corey Holland. For those in the community know him as Corey Mugler. I know him as my Corey, our Corey.
Mugler.
Oh, yeah, oh.
Let's not forget the history.
He said, we're going to get into the history. Let's get into the history. Corey Mugler. Legendary Corey Mugler. I actually like how you make sure that you give props to your first establishment where you built your name.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but before we get into all of that, welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, as I was saying, you're definitely one of my favorite people for many reasons, which they will learn. And let's kind of talk about how we came into each other's life first before we get into your life.
Yeah. And get into yours.
Okay. Uh-oh.
And ours. And the relationship we've cultivated.
Okay.
Yes.
Here we go. Right. So let's talk about it. It's 2025 now. I officially met you in 2013. Mm-hmm. You was how old at the time?
Oh, 2013. Roughly around 20. I think like 22, maybe 22.
A baby.
23? Yeah.
You was new. I remember. Let's talk about that. When you first came into the scene, you was literally. You came and like shadowed the scene for a year before you actually started walking, right?
Yes.
So tell them your first experience. How did you, Corey, end up at a ball?
So it all started. I actually was a part of.
Wait. Pause. Let's not get into that yet. Okay. Let's get into you. You are how old?
32.
And where are you from?
I am from Washington, D.C. No, actually, I am from Maryland.
You're from Maryland?
I'm from Maryland. Okay. But the DMV, to be exact. I've lived in all 3 states, so yeah. Give
us some of your family background.
Family background. I'm a very, very family-oriented person. I am the oldest of 3 boys. We have a adopted sister, and I have a son. I have a lot of nieces and nephews that I take on as my kids. My dad was incarcerated most of my life, but when he got out, we went and lived with him, and my dad was great even when he was incarcerated. Like, my mom moved us closer to him. He was just very active in our life still. So, I've come from a not the perfect family, but a great family. And we're all still very close-knit. Me and my mom and my brothers were just shoveling snow together.
Oh, I know.
And we haven't done that in about 15 years. So that was exciting. But, I'm a very, very family-oriented person.
Okay, so being a family-oriented person, you mentioned that you have a son.
Yes.
So let's talk about that. What is your coming out story? Because if it's a house full of boys, you're from Maryland, Washington, D.C. area, how was your family? Are they gay friendly? Is there phobia there? Or like, what was your story and how you came out?
So my initial coming out story, so my family's not foreign to, the LGBTQ lifestyle. My aunt actually has her best friend is trans, and she's been around us all of our lives growing up. One of my cousins, she's a female, she's a lesbian. So, it wasn't unfamiliar. But me coming out to my mom, it was me, my mom, my aunt, my cousin, my little cousin there. I was getting my hair done. And my mom, I don't know, she just like looked at me. I just freshly moved back from Vegas.
Tell me she clocked you.
So it was very much so like, so she was just like looked at me. She asked me, she was like, Corey, are you gay? And I was like, am I gay? I guess you would say so. I am attracted to men, but I'm also still attracted to women. So I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm gay, but I am attracted to men. And and I was like, she was like, okay. And I was like, well, how does that make you feel? And she was like, you're my son. And do I agree with it? No. But do I love you and support you? Yes, I do. So that's just pretty much. And then, honestly, I feel like from that moment, me and my mother and I actually got a lot closer, to be very honest, because when I moved back from Vegas, our relationship wasn't the best because I moved away and kind of ran away in a sense without her permission. So it kind of damaged our relationship. But when I moved back, and I feel like after me coming out to her, it was like a sense of relief. And now, like, my mom is my best friend.
How old were you at the time?
How old was I when I came out? I think I was about 19 or 20. Yeah, about 19 or 20.
How long did you have an attraction to men prior to that?
To be honest, it's always kind of been there. I just never really acted on it. I still love girls. I still was dating girls, have dated girls. So it's always kind of been there, honestly. I just decided to really live in my truth.
Yeah. So, what do you think made your mother ask you if you're gay? Like, was there like a mannerism? Was there a movement? Was there some things that was leading up into?
Mothers just have that thing. Mothers know their kids. Mothers know their kids. If you think that your mother don't know something about you, you're completely wrong. Like,
I think not to cut you off, but I think they know. There is that majority that knows, and then there's that minority that be in denial about it.
Yeah.
You can,
but they still know. They still know. They just deny. Yeah, it's like
yeah.
They rebuking it and everything. Like they take you to church, child. But I don't know what it was. And also when I was living in Vegas, I was living with my lesbian cousin at the time. But so I don't know if she may have just asked because of that, or it was a man. I don't know. Like, I've just always been me. So you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember one time when I was a kid, I was walking out the house in like short shorts and cowboy boots. Don't know where I got the cowboy boots from. And my mom was like, "You are not going outside like that." And I was like, "Yes, I am." And my mom was dating a guy at the time, and he was just like, "Let him be him." And from that moment on, and you know, she looked at me and I could see she disapproved, but she still allowed me to be me. And I went outside and played with my cowboy boots, my short shorts. Like I was.
What was the reason why you moved ran away, you said? Mm-hmm. What was the reason why you ran away?
It wasn't even like a reason like I was running away from anything. I've always just been a free-spirited person. Like I just really leave my life on just, if I want to experience it, I'm going to experience it. That's just how I've always lived my life. So it was more so a thing of me wanting to experience something different and experience what I feel like was more than what I had been accustomed to. So
basically wanted to be grown.
Yeah. Oh. And too grown. Yeah. No, very much so, yeah. And you know, I felt like it was a good thing for me to do. And what it was, in a sense, at the time, was it? No. And it wasn't a good idea. Mm-hmm. But I feel like that's also helped me grow into the person that I am today. And yeah.
So, for those that don't know, you have a younger brother who you're very close with, who's also gay.
I have two younger brothers.
Well, your brother right underneath you, right?
Yes, and then that's the middle brother, and then the youngest one.
So, did you know he was gay already, or did he come? Or
that's my sis. Did
you kind of like pave the way for him to come out?
No, I wouldn't even. To be very honest with you, and without telling his story of we just knew that it was just that was just like we knew, and that was honestly our secret, and that's why we are so close the way we are now, because like we always knew. We always knew. I'll say that. We always knew.
So my question to that is, when you said that your mother's response was like she doesn't agree with that, right? Mm. Is that her same feeling today?
Honestly, I don't think so. I think just over the years of her learning through my brother and I, and I definitely don't think so. I think my mother is happy that we are who we are, and that we live in our truth. And she say, like, as long as y'all are not in jail, on drugs, y'all are successful, and y'all are being men, and the men that I know y'all to be and that y'all were raised to be, like, I don't care who you are, who you date, what you do, as long as, yeah. So I definitely, me and my mother Key, like, I'd be like, "What's up, daughter?" She'd be like, "What's up, daughter?" Like, that's my... Well,
not to mention, you and your mother are twins. Like,
yes,
y'all look like...
Yes.
I mean, your whole family has, like, very strong resemblances. Yeah. And I'm a sucker, as you know, for like moms and relationships, people being close with their family, as you know my family, being close with family and being close with moms and stuff like that. And with me losing my mother, I have like more of an affinity to see people be very close to their mother. Yeah. So I always loved how like close you are with your mom, and to keep it real with you, I always look at how people treat their mom because I know that's how they're going to treat.
Yeah, that's going to treat
you get what I'm saying?
Their lover, their kids, any type of relationship, because that's the person that brought you. And I always
that's
say
important to me.
And granted, I know every relationship, people's relationship with their moms are different. And I'm just like, if you have that opportunity to work things out, and just me being a dad, like, I'm going through shit and I'm still learning myself. So me being a dad now and understanding that, like, when my mom was a mother of 3 boys, like, she was dealing with stuff, and so it's always like, if you have that opportunity to rekindle a relationship at an older age with your mom especially, but your parents in general, but your mom especially, like, I always say, like, go for it, because you only get one. So yeah. So
you said you have a son.
Yes.
Describe that experience, being attracted to men, being attracted to women. How old were you when you found out, and tell me, how was the experience for you being a young, gender fluid, sexual fluid, not gender fluid. Maybe I don't want to fuck nothing up. They be like, gender fluid. Yeah, right. Baby, what's going on? No, but a sexually fluid young guy. How was that?
Back when I...
Ginger ale.
Aesthetic. Back when I decided to have a kid with my girlfriend at the time, who is now my baby mother. When I decided to do that, I wasn't dating guys. I was still into girls. So like I said, I had an interest in them, but I never really dove into it to really be conflicted about it. So, we met in Vegas. We met in California. I was grown.
How old were you at the time?
I was 18. I was grown. Damn, I'm just thinking about Mom. I'm sorry, Mom. You right. You were right. We met in California. It was an all-star weekend. And me not knowing what I'm doing. Actually, she was the best friend of my cousin's girlfriend at the time. So, that weekend we just, like, kind of kicked it off, and one thing led to another, and we kind of started a relationship, and, she moved to Vegas, and that's where it grew from there, and we decided to have a kid, and, that's what...
So when you found out that she was pregnant, what was your initial reaction?
To be honest, I was excited. I have always been, like I said, I come from a big family. And, my mom is the caregiver. Like, my mom has always been a caregiver of my family. Like, taking care of, like, my grandmother and my great aunt. And just, like, that's just what... So, I've always grown up, like, with having my little cousins and stuff like that. And also being the oldest of 2 other boys, like, I've always had that in me. So, I was excited. Like, I'm about to have a kid of my own. Like... That was exciting for me, even at a young age. And honestly, it was planned. Like, we kind of planned it. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, we
didn't know it.
Yeah, no, we planned it. I was, again, just being grown. Sorry, Mom, but yeah. Yeah,
my experience, we didn't plan it, but we kind of did, because when you go raw, you should expect that a baby may come up. I was younger than you at the time, but I came out not that long after. Mm-hmm. And the first time I had butt, I never went back to P-U-S-S-Y. I never did. The first time I had butt, it was like, oh wow, this is different. This is amazing. So, when was the first time you had some butt?
It was probably like after I realized I was having a son, and I went back home to DC. When I moved back home to DC from Vegas, I got into the modeling scene there, the UAE modeling troupe scene, and that's when I kind of like really came out. So it was probably around like 19, 20.
Oh, you was a little older.
Yeah, I was.
I was 17 the first time I had it out.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Baby, listen, it was an experience.
So I wasn't being that grown.
Yeah, man, you're right. At 20, okay. Then what was the experience like for you? Like the first time that you
great.
Did you know, like that at that time? What did you prefer Did you prefer?
I was still at that point. I think that's when I became conflicted into like, okay, like what the fuck. But yeah, since I had it, I ain't been back either. So, cheers, cheers.
Wine and ginger ale for me. So, now you have a son. You're back in DC and Maryland. You said that you were doing the modeling troupe. Mm-hmm. Give the viewers a little bit of what that is for those that do not know about that.
So the modeling troupe, back when I was a part of it, called the UAE scene, the urban. I forgot. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not being disrespectful because that's where I originally started.
In the comments.
Yes, please. But it's kind of like a mini ballroom. It's not as mini ballroom, mini kiki, but it's more so geared to like actual fashion shows. So like in ballroom, there's different houses. In the UAE scene, there are different troupes. There are different modeling troupes. Models Envy, Models Inc., LLE. Like Exquisite, things of that nature. So, and a lot of people that are in ballroom now came from there, like Lolita, Day Day, Deshawn, Damo, Kiko. Brody, Kiko, like, so me, so.
Did you learn a lot there?
Yeah, that's when I first started really being comfortable and building confidence within myself, honestly, because I wasn't the most confident kid growing up, although I played sports, I dated girls, I wasn't very confident. And not that I was like, I just wasn't very confident. And I think that also helped build my confidence too before I even got into ballroom. So yeah, but it was more so good to like actual like fashion shows and things of that nature. So that's why I learned how to do like All American and stuff like that. But a lot of people don't even know how to do All American. I twist these people up into the box like that. But yeah, so that helped me build my confidence for the most part. And I'm always grateful for that. And then that's why I met a lot of my best friends. That's Deshawn, Brody, Tony, Danny, Orlando, like those are my best friends. We've been best friends for over 15 years now. That's why I met them. So, yeah.
So, tell me from the modeling troupe, how did you enter ballroom?
So, with me being a part of the UAE scene, I met my LGBTQ grandma, my grandmama. And
who was that?
Keisha Khan.
Ikesia. Okay.
Ikesia Khan. My grandma, and my grands is what I call her, and she really took me under her wing. Like love you. Shout outs to Ikesia. But no, for real, because she really taught me a lot too about just entering ballroom. Like that was my mentor. That's who mentored me into ballroom for real. And yeah, so she just approached me about it. She was like, I want you to come to this ball. Come to this ball with me. And I'm like, okay, but I'm thinking like it's a ball. Like, people got on suits and gowns and they dancing, they salsa and wasp and all of that. So I'm like, okay, so we go shopping for it. She's like, we're going to go shopping for it. I'm going shopping. I'm like, okay, I got to find me a tuxedo. So I'm like, she was like, no, it's not that kind of ball. Like, you just need, like, streetwear or something. But I still found some slacks and something. My first ball, if I look back on those pictures, I'm like, Corey, what were you doing?
Like a pickle.
Literally. The cucumber before the pickle. So, yeah, so I went to my first ball. And then, actually, with her inviting me there, my best friend, Rara, at the time, had invited me to be in what I didn't know was a grand march. But he told me that we were doing a fashion show and we were just walking with our shirt off.
So the cons conned you. The cons conned you. That is so old school. Like, like I know certain people like Alvernia, the icon Alvernia, they'll pass out like flyers like, hey, you want to come to a model? You want to come you want to be a model?
Yeah.
And then they'll be in the House of Prestige and they won't even know. That's like the old school like way to do it.
It was crazy. It was. Man, so he's like, we're just gonna model some bow ties and with no shirts and slacks, and we just gonna do, and they was paying us. He was like, they're gonna pay us. I'm like, bitch, all right, cool. Like then they like, okay, so the day comes and I'm like ready. I'm getting ready early, like 12 noon. I'm getting ready. I ain't never been to. So they're like, oh no, this don't start till 3 a.m. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. Now what fashion shows start at 3 a.m.? Like I ain't. So I done fell asleep, everything. I'm like, I wasn't used to it. So we get to the ball, and I was like, as soon as I walked in, I'm like, what the is going on? Like, what's happening?
I literally have pictures of him from that night in 2012
It's a video of me. Yeah.
And him just being there and participating, and he didn't even know what was going on.
I did not know what. So we did walked in the bag. They got us ready for the Grand March, and we did our thing. We walked off, and I stayed there for the ball. I got a glimpse. That was the first time I ever seen Selvin, and his whole head was fucking glittered.
He was like stone. He was like glitter.
And that was like I fell in love. I was like, what the fuck? I was staring at him the whole night like, OMG, like that. I saw Brian. That's when Brian was poking, and I always see the video. He sent it to me like when we started like conversing and getting cool, and he was like, look at you, and I was like, so it was funny. It was a great time though. And then after that, one of the cons reached out to me. BJ actually reached out to me. BJ Con, and he was like, basically like just from the crowd reaction, like we kind of want to make you a con. Like, how do you feel about that? And I'm like, cool, but I don't know what y'all want me to do. Like, I don't know.
So at that point, you still had no idea, really, even from being at the board, like what
was going on. Yeah, like where I fit in, what. So I'm just like, okay, and I saw the sex siren category, and I was like, wow, okay, like this is.
And did that category attract you first, or did another category like kind of attract you?
Honestly, I was just so blown away at everything. Everything was just like everything. I was like,
that day you was infected with bull fever.
Yeah, it was so much going on. Like I left there with my heart full that little day. I was like, oh, there's a lot going on here. Okay.
I love to hear experiences like that.
Yeah,
I mean, that's how ballroom
is. It was good,
especially when you enter it. When you enter into it, and it's like that's how I felt the first time I never seen anything like it, never felt anything like it.
Yeah.
And like I always say how I see like Christina and Sanaya battling in the club, and it was all that. And then when the mini ball started, it was like never was like hypnotic to me. So I always wish for that feeling again, because I don't feel that feeling today. But
ballroom is in a whole different.
There's still a lot of magic in ballroom, though.
No, absolutely. But it's just in a whole different new genre. It's a whole new genre of ballroom now.
There's nothing like them initial feelings in those beginning days when you.
Even now, anybody entering ballroom now and seeing it for the first time is still like, so yeah. But BJ reached out to me. He was like, we want you to be a con. I'm like, cool. I'm down, but I don't know what y'all want me to do. And he's like, okay, cool. We're going to look into some stuff. So, like, months go by and stuff. And they're like, okay, we want you to walk this ball. And I'm like, walk what? And he's like, sex siren. I'm like,
so, wait, so during that time, is that when you were just really watching and studying?
I was, like, looking at stuff. I was just kind of getting familiar with it. That's when Keisha really started to, like, really get me acclimated with ballroom and stuff like that. So, yeah, I never really went to another ball after that, though. And then, they were like, okay, we want you to get ready for this ball. I think it was Watch the Throne? Or DC Awards. It was some ball, and I wore the Army fatigue.
That was
the first ball. I was so nervous. I was so nervous. Oh my god. So there was Giovanni at the time, and
I might have to drop that photo in this video so they can see and remember like that.
Yeah. What was that? 2013.
2013.
Wow.
12 years ago.
Wow. So yeah, we were. They were like, we want you to walk this ball, and I'm like, okay. Cool. They're like, we want you to walk sex siren. I'm like, cool. So get there. Giovanni was like, they were like, we got you. Let me tell you something. The cons, baby, they treated me like the dog. Like
you was the Dalai Lama, baby.
Let me tell you something. I love my cons to this day. Like the cons always have a special place in my heart. But they were like, Giovanni said he gonna take care of everything. I corresponded with him. Everything came out. I was just blown away because I got up in my effect and I'm just like, wow, like I feel good. I felt so good. And that was the first ball that I walked. And that's when I seen Antonio, I seen Antonio, Tank, and I was like, Julius. And I was just like, what the, like this is, and I'm like, bitch, y'all want me to go up there against them? It was crazy, but it was great. And I went up there and I won my first ball that I walked. So that
Junior sex siren, right?
Junior sex siren. It was. And from there, a beast was born. So
well, let's talk about that. So you started walking in 2013, and then now you got the fever. Now you're feeling it. Now you're learning it. You just named already some. Now that they're all legends with you now, some icons and all that now. Yeah. Talk about those first couple of years of you walking the category when you were walking and traveling and going state to state and all this. And what was that experience for you?
It was invigorating. Honestly, I had been a part of sports before, so teams, and so traveling, being a part of a team wasn't nothing different to me. But it was something about feeling comfortable and really who I was, and I mean, it felt great. Like, I built a family, you know, with people that I didn't know, learned to grow and to know and love to this day. And, yeah, like, ooh, like, I can't even, it was crazy. It was crazy.
But how was it for you, like, you're essentially getting in front of a large crowd of people.
That was the nerve-wracking part.
Half naked.
That was the nerve-wracking part.
Like, how did you,
and then
like,
also,
how did you get through that? And, like, how did you get your energy, your chutzpah to be able to actually perform in front of people?
So I've always like had this little alter ego in me, and I never knew what it was. It's just like even when I was in sports, like when I hit the field, like I just turned into this person. And when I walked my first ball, I'm a fast learner too. So just me watching, even from the first ball that I went to, just me seeing and okay, so this is what I'm kind of expected to do. And, you know, the cons were coaching me like, you know, we more so want you to sell your sex appeal. Like, you have this look about you. That's what we want you to sell. And, you know, they kind of brought that confidence out of me. So it was, the first couple of balls was a little nerve-wracking for me. But as I grew in the category, like, I didn't really have somebody to teach me in the category. Like, I pretty much had to teach myself how to sell it.
So there was nobody in the category that kind of took you under their wing and tried to...
No.
So as you started walking,
which made it more competitive for me, because I'm like, oh, okay.
Did you kind of feel like, bitch, I don't see none of y'all?
No, I never thought that. Because I honestly, when I came to Capital Awards Ball and I saw it, I was like, wow, like these are all beautiful men. Like I never felt like, but it's also like a competition. Like, okay, so at this point now, like this is the category that I'm in. This is who my competition is going to be. So it's like, all right, like y'all beautiful, but yeah, I'm gonna put on mine too. So yeah.
So looking back, Dan, who would you say was your inspirations first, and who would you say were like your rivals, or the one that you know that if you went there to battle, okay, we're gonna make it hot?
Inspiration. So once I started actually getting into ballroom and like really learning the history of sex siren and stuff like that, like Kenyon was just the first person that always like, that's my bro. Like it's like that's who I admired just from learning the history of sex siren, and then just me also meeting Kenyon. Like Kenyon is like to me one of the most beautiful men on this fucking earth. Like I take my hat off to him. Like that's my brother. And so he was like more so my inspiration on my mood board. Rivals, you know, I personally didn't want to be like, this is my rival. Like but I feel like ballroom kind of made. I feel like ballroom more so made me a San Antonio rival. Honestly,
how many times have y'all battled?
We've battled a handful of times, and he's gotten me majority of them. Like I'm not gonna take I'll take my head off to him. Like no shade, I'm not a shady person. Like he has. I'm you know always down for a battle anytime though. No, I'm joking, but no, I'm serious. But yeah, no, he.
I mean, he definitely the category.
No, absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely, and yeah, so I feel like ballroom kind of made us that, and then anybody that I just want to like, I feel like I came out at a pivotal time too, where there were a lot of like sex sirens out. You know what I'm saying, and a lot of like heavy hitter sex sirens out. I feel like I kind of caught the last drift of like authentic ballroom. Not to say that ballroom isn't authentic now, but it's just like I feel like I caught that last real era. Like I got to see Naomi in her prime, you know what I'm saying? But not in her prime, but still in her prime, and not that she's not, but it's just like I got to see that, and I got to experience Vogue nights and shit like that, and like more so underground ballroom.
Shit, you got to experience Capital Awards Ball.
Exactly, yeah, okay, like things like that, and so, yeah, so I... Yeah.
What do you feel is your niche or specialty in sex siren? What makes Corey...
You know, I can't give out my gems.
Well, you gotta give them. Like,
no, I'm joking.
What is your niche? What makes your sex siren different, special, unique? I can tell you, but I'm gonna let you do.
With me, being sexy is not about your body or you being naked. You know, sexy is an aura to me. Honestly, like I could be fully clothed in a hoodie, and only thing you see is my eyes, but you're gonna feel my aura of sex appeal. And for me, with my selling it, I love to sell sex siren in the face. Like I'm gonna look you into your soul. Like I don't have to do. I'm not getting. Yeah, I know how to sell my body, but I also know how to sell my sex appeal with just looking you into your face. And that's just something that I pride myself on. That not a lot of people know how to do. You know, people feel like they gotta you know, pull out all the stripper moves, and it's like, no, just sell your aura, sell your sex appeal of who you are, you know. So yeah,
I feel what makes you really amazing at what you do as well is you, when you sell it, it can be masculine or feminine, and you mixed it too, and you make it look so good, and you know how to like kind of flip back and forth in battles doing it, and I think
that kind of grew on me too.
Yeah,
because
you're supposed to evolve as you do it though. Like that's what makes somebody legend.
Because at first I was scared to wear a chop. I was scared to show my ass.
Well, you was scared to show.
But now
you got a little cake.
Yeah, I mean I know, but I'm just like I'm a very private person. Like I know what I got, but I'm a very private person.
You feel like, bitch, I'm putting everything out there.
Yeah, like goddamn, like this is gonna be on the camera, and also like I think about like my family and stuff like that. And it's just like okay.
Did your mom watch your clips?
I've shown my mom some, and she's like, let me see, and I'm like, Mom, no, I really don't want. So I've showed her like the bare minimum of like, but yeah, she's seen them. Okay. She's seen them.
But that's what I feel is special about you. Is like you know how to go out there and you give a show. To me, like that's what makes it a performance as well. Like you click on, you activate your alter ego. What's his name? What's your alter ego's name?
Pharaoh.
Oh, okay.
Pharaoh is
introducing the Pharaoh
so,
sex. We have the Pharaoh sex here.
Yes, there are many kings, but there is only one Pharaoh. Oh. Yes.
The Pharaoh definitely knows how to activate.
Yeah, that's my alter ego, and you know, whenever I don't know, as soon as I hit the back of that stage and I know eyes is on me, I am, and you know, if I'm ever a bitch on the floor, trust me, it's not personal. It's
that's during the moment.
It's me and my moment. Like maybe you want to talk about that later, but that ball you got me worked up at. That ball you got me worked up at.
We're gonna come back to that part. So let me ask you this. Well, in 2020 you got deemed, acknowledged, legendary. You know, of course.
Shout outs to you. Shout outs to Jason and Sanaya and my big bro Kenyon for presenting me with my legendary.
We let you know time before, and we gave you they gave you assignments that you got to do this, you know, and you did that. How did you feel? Well, I'll let you tell. When it was first brought to you about you being, you know, going to be acknowledged, how did you feel about even hearing that at first?
I declined it. I did decline. Like to me, and like I said, it just plays a part into me witnessing, like I feel like I said, the kind of like the ending real trail of Ballroom, because like me looking at legendary status was something that I didn't feel like I had accomplished at the time, you know, especially me knowing and seeing the people that were legendary. I was just like, no, I don't think, I'm not ready, and you know, I appreciate y'all seeing that for me, but I don't think that it's my time.
Yeah. And they said, no, you're going to work and you're going to do what you got to do.
Yes, and I got assignments, and I completed every single one task.
So, how did you feel that day when you actually, you know, at that ball in 2020, when you was actually, you know, acknowledged? How did you feel?
I was overwhelmed. I was with emotion, and I try not to be emotional sometimes. I'm very in tune with my emotions.
I know.
So, I was trying not to be emotional on the floor, but it was a very special moment for me, especially coming from you and Kenyon and Sanai, like people that I look up to in Ballroom, and Jason, like people I look up in Ballroom, but also seeing my journey and seeing where I came from and seeing how I started and what I grew into. So it was a very surreal, but also like it was a great moment. And then I mean the venue, the ball, the way I looked, like my house behind me, like it was great. And I pay homage to, you know, the House of Khan and the House of Miyake Mugler for that journey, because that's what got me to my legendary status.
Okay, so let's talk about that. When you was a Khan, what made you, after having like especially those beginning years, you said the Khans, maybe they treated you like, you know, the Pharaoh. What made you leave Khan and go to the House of Miyake Mugler?
So what made me leave the House of Khan? So it just started to become a lot of, you know, just like disruption in the house. And to be honest, back then I didn't know how to deal with it, to be honest. And so when the house finally split, you know, I had already, like, I had seen the House of Mugler, like from, I believe it was the Balenciaga ball, the family reunion ball that came out of DC. Yeah. That was 2013 too? Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ.
October 2013, there's memory of
that one. And then it was another ball that I seen the Muglers at too, and I was just like when I actually got into Ballroom and started to learn like the different houses and things of that nature, I just saw Mugler and I was like, huh.
So there was only like a tattoo?
It was a little itch. It was a little itch, but I'm a very loyal person. I'm a very loyal person. And so, you know, I was just like, I was looking. And then, I don't know, the universe ended up bringing Yusuf and I together. And so, you know, with us dating, I, you know, started to experience the House of Mugler and just like, you know, the ins and outs of things, and it felt like a new home for me, honestly. And not that nobody persuaded me to come. It was, and honestly, while I came after me and Yusuf relationship ended. You know, I came to Mugler, but
come back.
Yeah, a little bit. But yeah. So wait, what was I saying?
You mentioned Yusuf, you got a little lost. Hold up. So then you went to the House of Mugler.
Oh yeah, so then I went to the House of Mugler.
How would that transition from being Khan and then going to the House of Miyake Mugler?
So once the House of Khan and the House of West split, I remained a Khan for a little bit.
They left and then they created the House of West.
When the House of West left and then created the House of West. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't even know how to say it. It's just, I don't know.
When the Khans left and then they became West.
Sure. That part.
Okay.
That part. It was a separation, unfortunately. And I stayed as a Khan for a little bit. I think I walked like 2 balls still. And then after that, I just kind of felt like I have reached my potential when it came to that chapter of my ballroom career. And so, you know, I left the House of Khan, and I did it respectfully. I called Big James. I let him know, like, hey, you know, I'm leaving the house.
How was that phone call?
It was actually good. Like, everybody thinks that maybe not to me.
You know, I got a
like, I've seen Big James definitely be Big James. Mm-hmm. But Big James, I don't know, he's always had a soft spot for me. So, yeah, he'll let me know it, but it's not like, I never got that bad side of Little James. Also, I'm a personable person, so I don't be trying to push nobody's buttons anyway. So, but yeah, Big J, it was good. You know, he didn't want me to leave, of course, but you know, by the time the phone call was over, he understood, and you know, it was amicable.
And then you went to the House of Porcelain.
And then so then I started. Well, not immediately after, but I started prospecting a couple months after with Mugler, and I was actually approached by another house to join before I joined Mugler, but I already felt where I wanted to be. Mm-hmm. And I debuted at the...
What house was that?
Look, I don't got time to be on nobody big O, nobody nothing.
Like, you ain't go there? Okay. Well,
no, I didn't go there.
Yeah, so doesn't matter. But... Okay, with no... Okay, what... Yeah. Question mark. Okay, go ahead.
But, Ceasar. Who?
Drop it in the comments.
Drop it in the comments.
No, go ahead.
But yeah, so... I debuted at the Garçon Ball in 2019. Was it 2019? Mm-hmm. It was 2019 at the Garçon Ball? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I thought it was 2018.
2019.
No, it was before that.
No, the House of West, they became House of West in July of 2018.
Okay.
The House of Garçon Ball was 2019.
Oh, okay. Your memory is better than mine.
You know it's good, I'm telling you.
But that's when I debuted as Mugler, and I walked perfect 10s that night.
Yo, that's when you came out with Tamaya.
Yes.
Okay.
And I was the only one that had the right effect on what they were calling for.
And on that, we'll be right back.
Purchase your tracks today.